I'm Melanie. Okay, let me turn my stuff off here. Sorry about that. Hi guys, I'm Melanie Mirzayan. I'm the owner of Wild Bakes and Cakes. Thank you so much for joining me today. Let me turn all these things off. Oops, and sorry about that, guys. All right, now that the technical difficulties are out of the way, today we are going to learn how to make ice cream cone cake pops. These guys are one of my favorite things to make. They're super cute. They're so fun. Kids love to make them. So if you have any kiddos making all this stuff with you today, they're going to have a lot of fun. With that said, let's go ahead and go down to the top-down camera, and I can show you guys all the fun and important things that we need to get started with class. Okay. All right, so today for our cake pop, we are going to need our cake. And today I'm actually going to show you guys how to do all the crumbling and all of that. So if you have your cake ready, just put it aside for a second. I'm going to kind of go over all the other stuff that we're going to need. So obviously we need our cake. Then you need your frosting. It could be, again, the flavor obviously doesn't matter. So it could be chocolate cake, chocolate frosting, vanilla cake, vanilla frosting. It's just we need cake and frosting. And we also need our chocolates. So the Sweet Tooth Fairy brand is one of my favorites. I usually get these from Michael's, and they have bazillion different colors that you can choose from. However, I've had a lot of questions about, what happens if you get just the white one and then want to color it yourself. You could definitely do that. And I will actually show you guys how to do that in this class. All right, so you're going to need your chocolates and some sort of topping. It could be any kind of sprinkles, any kind of fun toppings, depending on what theme you guys are going for. If it's for a, birthday party or fall theme or anything like that. I will show you guys today how to do kind of the classic ice cream cake pop look, which got like the melted kind of ice cream on top with the sprinkles. And I will also show how to do a s'mores version, which is super cute. So in this class, the goal is just for you guys to get comfortable on the techniques that we use to make these fun things. And then you can kind of get super creative and do all kinds of other fun stuff. And as always, I always want to see what you guys come up with after class. So if you guys don't mind sharing your photos or tagging us, either Wild Bakes or Michael's, Make It With Michael's, that would be awesome. That way I can kind of see what you guys do after class. All right. That's pretty much the basics. Everything else is just the decoration and all of that. So I will clear up my mess for a second here, and I'll show you guys how to mix the cake mix and get the right consistency for stuff like this. Okay, so I got my bowl. For this, I'm gonna use my gloves because normally it's easier for me to use my hands when I'm mixing all the stuff in the bowl. Some people, they like to use spatulas or spoons, but since I'm doing a class, I kind of need my hands to be a little bit clean. All right. Okay, so we have our bowl, and all you need to do is take a chunk of your cake and use your fingers or spoon or whatever it's easier for you, and just crumble the cake into your bowl, okay? Just like that. And try to get it as crumbly as possible, because you don't want to have any like big chunks or lumps. Sometimes the cakes will have like a harder corners or shell on top. Make sure to kind of pick those apart and not put it in your cake. But if it's soft enough, then it's fine. Just mix it all in there. Okay. So once you get your cake all crumbled up, just like this, now we're going to add our buttercream or our frosting in there. So the buttercream or the frosting is what is going to give the texture to your cake that you'll be able to mold it and do all kinds of fun things with it. That's why we mix it right into our cake. And to do this, make sure you guys always start small. You don't want to end up putting like a whole bunch of frosting in there. Then you're going to have a very mushy and sticky dough, and you won't really be able to work with it. So I suggest kind of start small, just put a little bit in there, just like that, and then give it a mix. And again, I prefer my hands because I'm able to kind of gauge the consistency better. Okay. So we added a little bit of buttercream in there. Now we're going to test out to see if this is all we need or if we need to add more. Okay, so just this is actually kind of fun. Gloves are coming off. All right, so once we get everything mushed in, just like that, the goal is to grab a piece and turn it into a ball. And if it holds its shape, kind of like that, then you guys are good to go. If it's too sticky and it's sticking to your hands or to gloves, then you put too much frosting in there. You can always add more cake in there and mix it up again. If it's too dry and it falls apart when you try to make a ball, then that means you need a little bit more frosting, okay? The texture, it's kind of like playing with Play-Doh. So that's what you're looking for, where it's solid enough, where it holds its shape together, and it's not falling apart. Okay. So now that we have our cake ready, I will show you guys how to do the next step. So I'm going to take my gloves off because I need my hands. All right. So now get your ice cream cones ready to go. I chose this kind of cone because it's easier to work with. It's got a flat bottom, so you can kind of, set here. I can show you guys. Set your cones without them falling. The waffle cones are super cute as well, but they have a pointier bottom, and those are going to be really hard to kind of set them on your table unless you have some sort of a holder. So at the end of the day, it's just preference and what kind of look and feel you're trying to go with. But we're gonna do this today just because it's easier. Sometimes the cones have like a little bumpy line here, and it makes your cone kind of wobbly. That's okay. You can just use a sharp knife and gently scrape off that little edge that's on top. All right. Before I forget, if you guys have any questions or you want me to explain something, please feel free to put it in the chat. Oops, sorry guys. And Carrie will definitely let me know about the questions. Okay, I can't really see my screen, so I need her help with this. Why is my camera rotating right now? Okay, is that better? All right, sorry about that. Okay, so now, oops, we're having all kinds of issues today. So now we need to get our cake into our cone. All right. So what you need to do is you kind of need to gauge how big your cone is, the opening is, because that's the ball needs to be big enough for it to sit and not go inside inside your cone. Okay. So the one that I just made is too small. See how it's just kind of going in there. So I need something a little bit bigger so it sits nicely on top. All right. So we're going to take a little bit more, mush it around, turn it into a ball. Usually it's better if you guys make your cake balls ahead of time and then put it in the freezer for a few minutes because you want it to be as solid as possible. So when you're dipping in your chocolate, it doesn't kind of fall apart or come out of your cone and fall into your chocolate. But for this class, I think I can make it work just to show you guys the process. But if you're doing it on your own, it's better to go ahead and get your the shape that you need ready. And this one, see, this one's still a little too small. Okay, so I need to go a little bit bigger. And then, yep, just put it in a bowl, cover it with plastic wrapping, and put it in the freezer for maybe 5 minutes or so, just to get it a little bit on the harder side, okay? It'll be easier for you guys to dip at that point. So we need a bigger cake ball for this guy. And the cones, I'm sure you guys know, they come in different shapes and sizes, and that's just, again, preference for you guys to what you want to do, all right? So we're gonna try this. Okay, I think we got it. This looks pretty good. It looks like ice cream, right? It's sitting nice and tight in there. It's not falling out. Even if it falls out, that's okay, because you guys would probably have it already frozen and solid, and you can just let it sit there, or even better, have it sit in your cone, just like this. Make sure it's how you want it. And then you put the cone and the cake pop in the freezer. So that way, all you have to do is dip in your chocolate when it's ready to go. Okay, so just a little tip right there. Okay, I'm going to see if I could do maybe one more for our both versions that we're going to do. Again, turn it into a ball. And you don't want it to go too ginormous, because then it kind of doesn't look good and it'll be hard for dipping and doing that kind of stuff. Okay, and you want to make sure you mush it in nice and tight so your ball is pretty tight. Okay. Put it in there and kind of shape it in. That looks pretty good. We have cute little ice creams happening here. All right, let's put this away. All right, so let's talk about chocolate, because that's our next step. For chocolate, if you're going with the colored version of the Sweet Tooth Fairy brand, they recommend to use heat-safe glass microwavable bowls, okay? And the way you do it is, after you put your chocolate in your bowl, then you set your microwave to 50% power. So you don't want to go full power. So you just do 50% power, and you do 1 minute. After that, take it out of the microwave, mix it up really well. And always remember, the glass gets really hot. So as you're mixing, the glass is also still melting the chocolate, okay? And if you still don't have the consistency, or the chocolates are not melted all the way, after you give it a good mix, then you pop it back in the microwave, again at 50%. That's important because you don't want to burn your chocolate. So 50%, and then you kind of start at 30-second increments until you get all the chocolate melted. For me, when I'm doing dipping, it ends up being a little bit too thick. So they recommend adding 2 teaspoons of vegetable shortening into your chocolate, and you melt it and you mix it, and it should give you the consistency that you're looking for. However, for me, the shortening doesn't really work. It ends up clumping up my chocolate. So I normally use coconut oil. So I'll replace the 2 teaspoon with my coconut oil. I put it in there, I mix it, and if I have the consistency that I'm looking for, great. If not, I'll add a little bit more. Again, you always want to, with baking, go slow. Okay, you don't want to end up adding everything in the beginning, and then it's like, oops, it was too much, you know, my chocolate's ruined, you know, that kind of stuff. All right, so just a little tip on melting your chocolate. So for the one, yes.
Would you say that before, when you're storing it, before you eat it, would you store it in the fridge?
The
Is that
chocolate?
or just when you're after making the cones?
The cones, yes. So you could keep them room temperature, for a day, but then at the end of the day, you have to remember you have cake inside, right? So your cake contains dairy, it contains eggs, things like that. So you ultimately want to end up leaving it in the fridge if you're going to keep it longer than a day. And make sure it's always covered, it's airtight, because ultimately you don't want, sometimes we have weird foods in the fridge and we don't want them to smell different foods. Hope that helps. All right, so now for our white chocolate, and we're gonna talk about coloring, okay? So after you melt your white chocolate, same concept, putting it in the microwave, you then need the candy melt colors. All right, so Michael's carries two versions. There's one that's water-based, and that one is really good for like the fondants and other things that you want to color. But for chocolate, you guys have to make sure it's for candy and it says oil-based, okay? Because water and chocolate are not friends. You're gonna end up ruining your chocolate. So after we get our chocolate melted, which I already have done that, you then pick the color that you want. And these guys are like little tubes like that. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do the blue one so I can match what we are trying to do. Okay, and these guys are super concentrated. So again, keep in mind, you want to go very, very small little drops. Mix it completely, make sure that's the shade you're looking for. And if it's not, if it needs to get darker for whatever reason, then you can keep adding. Another side note, colors tend to taste a little bit bitter. So the more you put in there, the more bitter your chocolate or your cake, if you're using, putting stuff in your buttercream, will be. Just a side note on that one, okay? All right, so all you have to do is just drop your color in there. Okay, so we're gonna go small. And again, it doesn't seem much until you start mixing it. And then it's like, wow, that's pretty wild and bright. And that's not what I wanted. Okay, so we're gonna mix it up really good. All right, so that needs a little bit more. So we're gonna go ahead and add a little bit more in there and mix it really good. Again, I prefer buying already colored chocolate because it's easier. Unless, there's a specific shade that you are looking for that obviously doesn't exist pre-made, then it's better to do it this way, okay? All right, so this one is actually not coloring as much as I thought it would. It's giving me a very light kind of grayish blue. I don't know if you guys could see it. So I'm gonna put a little bit more in there. There we go. All right, and for color, there's definitely different kinds. There's the drops and they also have the gel versions too. All right, so we got nice blue here. And add maybe a little bit more. Yeah, this one is actually taking a lot more color than I thought. Normally, it's the other way around. Okay. So you guys get the point on how to color white chocolate, okay? Usually you put the color in after you melt your chocolate. All right. So we have our blue color. We have our pinkish color. And again, the colors are definitely up to you, what you want to do, how you want to decorate. Usually I'll just pick, random colors that I like for classes. But if you see a list that I put up and you're like, I really don't want to do the pinks and the yellows, then go ahead and pick the colors or buy the colors that you would like to play around with, okay? Sometimes my last class we did fruit donuts. which was watermelon and pineapple. Obviously, for those, you kind of want to stick to the colors that are required for for that specific fruit, but you guys get the hint. Okay, so and then we have our yellow for one of the base. Make sure it's nice and kind of soupy. Okay, not too soupy because it'll run off your stuff. All right, so now we are going to take our cake pops that we already made and we let it chill for a minute, and we're gonna dip it into our chocolates. You can use spoon to do this, or you can kind of dip it in there just like that. All right, kind of get all the side, make sure all the sides are getting covered. You don't want to go too deep and then cover all your cone, and then lift it up. All right, and give it a little bit of a shake, a gentle shake, just to kind of get it nice and straight. You can maybe do a little bit more if you want to get that drip look. Whoops. See, this is what I mean. It comes right out. So for that, you just have to use like a fork or something, and which I'm going to grab 1 second. This is good. You guys get to see all the things that could go wrong. All right, so you just kind of pick that up and pop it back in. Okay, and because the chocolate is still wet, that kind of gives us the advantage, right, to redip. So we're going to go ahead and do that again and hopefully not drop it into the bowl. All right, so now you can see we're getting some drips on the side. All right, we're going to let that dry. And this is where the cone comes in handy, because you could just let it sit just like that. And while it's drying, you can kind of go ahead and do your other cones. But with the waffle cone that I was talking about, that has the pointier tip, then it becomes, if you don't have a holder, it's like, where would you put it, right? Okay, so our next one, we're going to do the blue. Same concept, you kind of tilt and dip. All right, tilt and dip, and then see, I didn't cover that side, so we're going to dip that in again. Actually, I have a little bit of cone sticking out. Okay, so we want to make sure we cover that up too. All right, and when you kind of do the little shaky dance like this, the chocolate will start kind of dripping on the sides. All right, gonna add, put this aside. All right, so now we want to decorate the top of our cake pops, our ice cream. Okay, so the one that I did, the more traditional one, we have our first dip, which we just did. The best option would be for you guys to kind of put that back in the fridge for a couple minutes to make sure this layer gets nice and hard. But for this purpose, we're gonna pour another color over it. So it's okay. We're not, it's not gonna mess it up or anything. So now we're gonna add our second color on top of our first color. All right, put this aside. So let's see, we are going to use our yellow, and we're gonna put kind of that pinkish purplish color over it. Couple ways you guys can do that. One is you can use a piping bag to put your chocolate in and then squeeze the chocolate out. Or you can use a Ziploc bag as well. And I like using the Ziploc bags for smaller projects like this, because then I'm not ruining a lot of chocolate. Okay, so just a couple things to keep in mind. And of course, there is the spoon version, where I'll show you guys how to do that too. Might be easier. Where you get your chocolate And now we're gonna give it that drizzle melted look on top, okay? So just make sure your chocolate is melted, right? And you're gonna pour it on top slowly and just kind of start creating little little dips, little kind of drops on the side. All right. And if your chocolate is too thick, this thing is, or this technique is going to be a little bit hard. So that's why you want to make sure you get your chocolate nice and smooth and a little bit on the watery side per se. Okay. So we can kind of then just use your spoon to create the little drops. And always remember, while your chocolate is still kind of melty, this is where or when you want to start adding your decorations. This is the perfect time to kind of add your sprinkles on top because you want it to make sure it sticks, right? So you just kind of do that, put your little decorations on there. You don't want it to dry because then your decorations will not stick to that. I'm going to add a little bit more just to make it more fun and exciting. So again, this is totally up to you guys, however you want to decorate your ice cream. Okay, so we have our cute first one. I don't want to dip it over to show you guys because it's still not dry and I'm afraid my cake will pop out. Here is a good example. This one is already done, right? And it's a smaller cone and it's nice and solid. And this one is a bigger cone. And it took a lot more cake in there. Okay, just so you guys can kind of gauge how much cake you're gonna need. That all depends on how big your cone is, okay? All right, so now we are going to do our s'more version. So this one, again, it doesn't matter, you know, you can put a chocolate, like the brown chocolate cover or chocolate on there to give it that s'more look and feel that you're looking for. You can have fun and make it super colorful and bright. And for this one, maybe we can drizzle some yellow. Okay. And it's the same concept. Using your spoon. Move this over to my camera so you guys can see. Okay, just kind of starts from the top and then drizzle down the sides just to give that effect. And again, you know, you guys can use your Ziploc bags for this or the piping bag, whatever you feel comfortable with. Once you start doing a lot of these, then you kind of end up finding what works for you. There's really no right or wrong way. I mean, I guess there is, but not really. All right. So we're going to get that. And then if you always give it a gentle shake, the chocolate kind of starts sliding off and kind of evening itself out. All right. And we have this done. Now we want to decorate it with our s'mores. So for s'mores, I'm going to use our graham crackers. Okay. And again, you can do like a big one. You can chop it up into small pieces. This is where your creativity kind of kicks in, but you want to make sure you're doing all this while the chocolate is still wet. All right. Let's kind of put that in there. And we are going to use our mini marshmallows and kind of set it on top. And this is however you guys want to decorate it. It's totally up to you. You can put as many or as few as you want. Kind of do that. And let's not forget our chocolate chips. I got the little mini ones. they're easier, or they're actually, they look better than the big giant ones. And just kind of drizzle it on top, however much you want to do. Okay. Who doesn't like chocolate? So the more, the better. I know my son loves it. And so do I. All right. So now we have a cute little s'mores version that's a not traditional s'mores looking cupcake or cake pop. All right. So any questions on the dipping process or chocolate melting process or decorating process? Go ahead and put it in the chat. Okay. So now we're gonna let these guys dry. But you guys can see how you can have so much fun with them, right? And again, once they are completely dry, they can sit on the counter for a whole day, but then afterwards you want to put it in the fridge. Make sure you seal it up because you do have cake inside and you want to kind of protect that. Okay. And let me clean this up a little bit. Now I want to show you guys, once you have your ice cream cone cake pops done, they're nice and dry, so nothing is sticky, right? They're ready to go. They're solid. These would make a perfect like party favor, or you guys can wrap it up as gifts. I had few people actually ask, how would you gift them or give it to someone? And we're going to do a quick little crafty session just to show you guys how you can do that. All right. So Michael's also carries these kind of like goodie bags that you can buy, different sizes, and they are food safe. So one fun way of doing this is you get one of these clear plastic gift bags or goodie bags, I should say. All right. And you open it up. And we're going to put our cake pop right in there. And again, you want to make sure your goodies are nice and dry for this process. Okay, so they can sit there nice and cute. And you guys could put a cute little bow on there as well, which I got one just to show you guys how cute these things do look. All right, so all you have to do is tie the end of it. And again, they have, oh my gosh, so many cute ribbons at Michael's, especially with fall coming up. They have so many fun decorative ones, thicker ones, thinner ones. You can totally go nuts and have so much fun with these. But I just kind of picked this traditional one just for the class. My bow making skills are not the best, sorry. There we go. And now we have a cute little gift. You can add like a thank you tag or happy birthday tag or whatever it is that you guys want to do. You guys can add that to your piece as well. Okay. So here is a fun way of gifting your goodies when you are done. All right. So I think we are kind of getting to the end of everything that I wanted to show you guys. I'll open it up to you right now to see if you guys want to see anything different, talk about decorations or the cake or dipping process. I would love to hear if you have anything to say about the class right now. And if not, you guys can definitely send me your questions to my Instagram page, Wild Bakes, and I'll be more than happy to answer them there as well. And please don't forget to tag us so we can see all the wonderful fun things that you guys make, either with Michael's classes or Make It with Michael's or Wild Bakes. And At the same time, remember that this class has been recorded. So it will go on Michael's YouTube channel, I believe 24 hours after the class is over. So you can always go back and rewatch everything that we did today and talked about, just in case you missed something or wanted to see the dipping process again. Okay. And again, if you have any questions, you can message me directly as well. I have
We do
another
have one
class.
question.
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, my next class is coming up. That one is going to be super fun. We are going to learn how to make hamburger cupcakes and French fries with sugar cookies. So if that's something you are interested in, and if your kids are going to want to be a part of it, go ahead and sign up for it. It'll be super, super fun and creative. All right. Thank you guys for joining me today in this class.
We do have one question
Oh,
before we
yes.
go.
Yes.
So do you fill up the whole cone with cake or just the ball on the top?
I normally fill just the ball on top. However, you can definitely put more cake in the cone area. I have seen people also fill it up with candy and then they put the cone on top. So you can have so much fun with this. I mean, the creativity and the possibilities are literally endless. I have done it where I put M&Ms at the bottom and then I put the cake ball on top and kind of create, the piece just like this, or you can fill the whole thing with cake. It's just up to you on preference and what you want to do. But those are
Yeah,
all,
and how many
yes.
approximately how many cake pops do you make when you make the batch? Like how many do you find that it makes?
It all depends on how much cake you make. If you guys are using like the cake boxes or cake mixes, or the recipe that I post usually for the class handout, again, it all depends on, are you going with a smaller cone or are you going with a bigger cone? With a typical batch on a smaller cone, I think I get about, I want to say maybe 10 if I'm lucky. And I'm not, when I say 10, I don't fill the cone at all. I just do the little balls. But with the big ones that we just did in this class, you're going to need a lot of cake to get 10. And hope that helps. With the frosting, if you're going to use all of your cake for the cake pop purposes, then you don't need to make a lot of frosting because you're never going to use that, right? So you might want to cut that down in half from the recipe that you have, because all you need literally is a little bit just to kind of get your cake kind of wet and the consistency that you want. Hope that answers the question.
Yeah, and I believe that was the last question we received.
Last question. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for joining me today. I hope this was fun and you guys learned something new, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll see you in my next class. Bye, guys.